Hello students, today we will be doing acid basis salts part 1, definitions and classification. This is the concept map of salt, what all we will be doing. We will be doing in this video definition and classification. Definition, we will salts are ionic, they conduct electricity, non-volatile, soluble, hydrolyzes to produce acid and bases. Classification, normal salts, acid salts, basic salts, double salts, mixed salts and complex salts. In your ICSE syllabus, you don't have double salts, mixed salts and complex salts. So, we will not be discussing those. There are properties also we will be discussing in the next video, and then after that we will be discussing preparation of soluble as well as insoluble salts. Now come to the definition of a salt. A salt is a compound formed by the replacement of hydrogen ions of an acid partially or wholly by a metal or ammonium ions. Now see the partial replacement. This is the acid. It has two hydrogen, you can see, that is, it is dibasic acid. Now this is the metal, sodium hydroxide. In this, sodium is the metal. Sodium is replacing one hydrogen of the acid, giving the salt sodium bisulfate or sodium hydrogen sulfate and water. This reaction happens below 200 degrees Celsius. This you have already seen in the acid chapter. Now if there is a complete replacement of both the hydrogens by sodium atom, then you get salt which doesn't contain any hydrogen. So first one is the partial replacement, second one is the whole replacement. In second case you are getting sodium sulfate, that is Na2SO4 as a salt, and this reaction occurs at more than 200 degrees Celsius. You have to remember these two reactions because these are happening in case of in sulfuric acid chapter also. Ionic definition of salt. A salt can also be defined as ionic compound which when dissolved in water yields a positive ion other than hydrogen ion and a negative ion other than hydroxyl ion. Now, sodium chloride is a salt consisting of sodium ion and chloride ion. So, sodium ion is the positive ion other than hydrogen, chloride ion is the negative ion other than hydroxyl. Now, when sodium hydroxide, that is a base or alkali, reacts with acid, gives you sodium chloride and water. Now, sodium chloride is the salt. So, this is the neutralization reaction. Now, classification. In this classification, we will cover only three salts: normal salts, acid salts and basic salts. What are normal salts? Salts formed by the complete replacement of the ionizable hydrogen atoms of an acid by a metallic or an ammonium ion. Now, what are the examples? Sodium phosphate, sodium sulfate, ammonium chloride. Now, acid and alkali gives you normal salt and water. Acid taken as HCl, alkali taken as NaOH, normal salt is sodium chloride and water. Now, this normal salt is having no ionizable hydrogen atom. Now, acid salts. Acid salts are formed by the partial replacement of the ionizable hydrogen atoms of a polybasic acid by a metallic or an ammonium ion. Example, disodium hydrogen phosphate, sodium bisulfate or sodium hydrogen sulfate. Now, here you have a polybasic acid, sulfuric acid. This is a dibasic acid. It has two hydrogen which can be replaced. Now, alkali I have taken sodium hydroxide. Now, one metal in the second slide we had seen already in the definition of salt. I have shown you two types of salt formation. Sodium replaces one hydrogen of the acid, gives you sodium hydrogen sulfate and water or sodium bisulfate. Acid salts are formed when amount of base taken is insufficient for the complete neutralization of the acid. Now, if you do the complete neutralization of the acid, then you will be getting the normal salt. Acid salts ionize in water to give hydronium ions, and hence they show all the properties of acids. Now come to the basic salts. Basic salts are formed by the partial replacement of the hydroxyl ions of diacidic or triacidic base. Now examples are lead hydroxyl chloride, magnesium hydroxyl chloride, copper hydroxyl nitrate, or you can say basic lead chloride, basic magnesium chloride, basic copper nitrate. So how do you produce? The example is given. Diacidic base means this has two hydroxyl groups. Its acidity of the base or lead hydroxide is 2 plus acid. So you get PbOHCl, that is basic lead chloride, and water. Now these basic salts contain a metal or metallic cation, hydroxyl ion of the base, and the anion of the acid. Now this hydroxyl ion has come from lead hydroxide, metallic cation comes from the lead hydroxide, and chloride ion comes from the acid. Thank you.